I want to show you something real quick. 2019. This is the year that World War III was taken off of the Steam store. It was completely removed so that nobody could purchase it because they wanted to develop it more. Since that time, my beautiful wife and I have had one little boy, two little boys, and a third little girl. Yeah, that's right. Third girl. So this game has allowed me to have 3 kids before they even released any new content. Now, it's finally here and I'm not one to complain. It's kind of funny how long this has taken. This game has been in beta since 2018, but now some new content after 3 kids is finally here. Alright, so now that we've got that goofy intro out of the way, let's get to the nitty gritty and go over what's in this update and if it's worth installing. My name is Tacti. If you enjoyed that intro, aggressively tap that like button 3 times to keep me from becoming homeless. Alright, World War III Season 1 update is called Redline. The game is officially considered to be fully released, and the Season 1 Battle Pass has been released as well. If you haven't heard of this game before, it's a modern first-person shooter that is free to play for anybody. It's right there on Steam, I'll link it down below. There are also a couple new maps and weapons and strikes to go over here, but the general theme of the update is that it's an Asian theater of war, so most of the new additions as far as like the weapons and the strikes, they go along with this theme. The first of these being the new weapons. You've got 2 assault rifles being added into this game. The K2C1 is the first, a service rifle carried by the South Korean military. By default, this gun is loaded with hollow point rounds, so it's going to tear through those fleshy opponents. The second being the QBZ-95. This is the Chinese assault rifle. It's got a bullpup design, and it's easy to control with low recoil. I haven't got my hands on either one of these just yet, but I'm looking forward to trying them out eventually. Both of these can be unlocked leveling through the Battle Pass. I'm not sure how they're going to deal with unlocking it after this season is over, but for now, they're unlocked at levels 8 and 28 through that Battle Pass there, though there are some blueprints along the way earlier than these so that you can use them before you unlock it. You're just not going to be able to customize them the way that you want. You can, however, level them up even though the base gun itself might not be unlocked for you. So that way when you do finally unlock it, you've got those attachments that you can put on and you can make it look nice. And then to go along with these weapons, there are a few new strikes that you can be deadly with. You've got the ZT-99, which is a light battle tank, the K-21 IFV, or Infantry Fighting Vehicle, and another heli drone added to the list here, the IMUGI. These are all unlockable through the Battle Pass as well. And just as a side note here, these base weapons and strikes can be unlocked without purchasing the Battle Pass. You can just go through the free version of it. You just may not get all those extra blueprint goodies. And to go along with this, just an FYI for those veterans, if you haven't received the Battle Pass yet, it's coming. If you've purchased the game back when it originally launched, you'll be getting the Battle Pass for free here, so don't drop that money just yet. The Battle Pass is coming for you. And then for everybody, you'll also receive some goodies for logging in daily during the start of this new season. So make sure you log on, grab your stuff, make sure you head over to worldwar3.com and send it over through the inventory system. And now one of the coolest additions, I think, to this update, the point shooting. They do it a little bit funky here, but this is now the default secondary shooting position on almost all weapons. So instead of that secondary sight, you can just go into point shooting mode. If you equip a laser, it's much more accurate, but it's still not quite spot on. It's obviously going to be more difficult to use this at longer ranges, but it is a really cool feature. The one thing I don't like is that when you do switch to your secondary sight or your point shooting, you're just carrying the rifle around like this. And I think that looks a little funky, but whatever. Either way, it's definitely a great way for any weapon to have the close range abilities, even if you're rocking a long range scope. On top of this, they've also added several other quality of life features. You can check those out on the patch notes. Now, onto my favorite additions here. I've waited 3 children for these. The new maps. First, you've got Gobi. It's a temple located in the Gobi Desert in China. Unfortunately, this map is only available as a team deathmatch map and will likely be available for the upcoming domination game mode that they'll be adding here soon. A welcomed addition, but I wish it would have been more of a large-scale TAC Ops map as well. What I think is really cool about this map, though, is that during one of the rounds, you'll have a sandstorm blow in and completely change the look of the map. And personally, I really like the look of this. It's not anything like a dynamic battlefield sandstorm that they have going in. It unfortunately doesn't happen mid-match, but it's still pretty cool and does change the look of it. I really enjoy that. And then onto the other map, the DMZ. Now this is a real-world location between North and South Korea. The DMZ is an acronym for Demilitarized Zone, but things got a little spicy and it's no longer demilitarized, as you can see. I'm a big fan of how most of the maps in the game attempt to do the real-world locations as accurate as possible, and you'll see that in the other TAC Ops maps as well. You'll see that they're really trying to get the one-to-one aspect as well as they can, and if you've visited any of these places, you'll think, hey, I've seen that before. I remember as a kid when I was playing Fallout 3 and I was playing in the Washington, D.C. area, it was really cool for me to see those real-world locations in a video game, and if you visited any of these places, I think you'll probably get the same kind of feeling. But overall, the map is definitely my new favorite. With the hills and the buildings and the color palette, I'm a really big fan. I'll have a video out tomorrow exploring the map with the buddies Gibbs and Blue, so subscribe and turn on those notifications to see that because it's a pretty great map flow. Overall, this is something the game desperately needed. A new map helps to remove some of the rust that's developed on some of those older maps. We've just seen them all so many times, and there's only so many times that I can play the same map over and over and over again. So this sort of breaks those things up. Even if I'm playing the original maps and this one is thrown into the mix, it doesn't get as dull. The seasons overall are about 3 months long, so I'm expecting some new maps in a few months as well, along with more guns, more strikes, more cosmetics, all those other things. But we'll just have to watch to see how the game develops over the next few years. To veterans, just having these two maps may get old quickly, so I'm gonna enjoy it while I can. But that's all for this one. Hit that subscribe button if this info was helpful to you, hit that like button if you enjoyed it, or the dislike if you didn't. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, be bold, be courageous, stay tactical.